Hello friends, welcome to ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we will look into checkbox control and checked change event handling. The checkbox control gets yes or no data from the user. So it's kind of a choice with two options. User can flip between check and uncheck state by clicking on the checkbox control. That means if a checkbox is displayed here, just to know whether a person has a diabetic or not. So when user clicks for the first time, it will place a check mark, and when they click next time, it will remove the check mark. The checkbox control raises checked changed event on the server. When auto post back is set to true, the control submits the data to the server when its check state changes. Alright, like a text box, checkbox can also support auto post back. So whenever user places a check mark or not, whenever user interacts with the checkbox, it will performs the auto post back because the state is changing, right? The state change can be either from checked to unchecked state or unchecked to checked state. Since a state change is recorded and auto post back is set to true, the form data is submitted to the server. Now let's look at this with an example. Before that, let's state that we have a form and we have a checkbox here. Right, so let's state that auto post back is set to true here. So if that is the case, let's assume that user is placing a tick mark here. So what happens? So this is your client browser, and here it is the server, right? So the handler is there on the server. Handler in the sense the checked changed, let's state that and this is the event, and checked changed event handler is on the server. So what happens? To handle this event, the server need all the form data at this moment because the handling is not happening on the client side, right? It's not a client side handling, and events are handled on the server side. So what happens? With the auto post back is set to true, the form data, let's state for example we have some text box also, and here also user can feed data, right? So what happens? All these data are submitted to the server, right? When the form data is submitted to the server, then server will run all the event procedure in a sequential order. It makes a call to page load, then after certain stage it knows that there is a state change on the checkbox. So since there is a handler checked changed, it will run that, right? The same holds true for text box also. We learned about text box previously, and there we talked about the text changed, right? Whenever a character is entered, it will record the change event, and once you hit enter, that time only the auto post back is fired. Either tab or enter will fire the auto post back. That too if the auto post back is set to true here, the time it will fire the event and run all the event procedure. Since a text change is recorded here, it will run that text change event here. That's why usually in Windows application, since the handler is on the client machine itself, whenever you type the character text, let's state ABC, that's what you are typing, and for each character, 3 character we typed here, right? So in a Windows application, it will immediately call this procedure every time when a character is changed. But in case of web application, the change event is recorded and it will be handled when form is submitted. So form will be submitted by clicking the submit button, or if auto post back is set to true for any of the controls. So during that time, the form will be posted, and since the form is posted, server will do the processing. When it is doing the processing, it will check for all the changes. Suppose if checked changed as well as the text change both are recorded, then it will run both the procedure. Alright, now let's go to the example and look at the demo. So in the last video, we talked about text box control. Now we will create a new example or a new web form. Add web form, and we will name our web form as BC04 checkbox control. You can either add a web form like this, or you can choose add new item. Then from the template list, you can choose the web form, name it, and add the web form to the project. So instead of wasting time on placing the control and designing the form, here we are pasting the code that's available in the description. And if you look at, these are all the controls we added. We added a label, and we are stating that as pick languages known. You'll go with a split view so that you can easily see the selected control, right? First one is the label. Then with a BR tag, we have a checkbox control, and we set ID and text property, and you can see auto post back is set to true for this. And these are all the other checkbox controls. Finally, we have a label control, and we named it as LBL display. Then we set a font and text properties. You can also look at the properties here, and whatever comes bold, that's what got changed. And if you see, label 1 and pick languages known, and other properties are default English. You can see we changed the text property. Auto post back is set to true, and ID is CHK English. And you can look at the other properties. ID, auto post back true, text French. Likewise, we designed these controls. Right now, we will pick each control and go to event tab and handle the checked changed event. French, double click, go back to the form design, click on German and checked changed. So here if you see, we are handling the checked changed event for all our 3 checkboxes. So here if you see, we have LBL display, right? LBL display is here. We will close the previous example. LBL display is here, and we named this we named this control as LBL display, and other controls are named with the CHK prefix. So when CHK English is changed, we are checking the check state. So here the property what we are using is checked, that will give you the Boolean value. When user actually places a tick mark, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. And you see in the label we are simply stating English checked, English unchecked. Right, we know that the handler is for CHK English. So the same way we can handle other two handlers as well. So since we know we are inside the event handler for French checkbox event, and we are simply checking what is its current state. Based on that, we are printing the label with a specific information message. Alright, that's all here. We will rebuild this solution and run it. Since we set auto post back to true for all these checkbox, whenever you click this checkbox, the event or the data will be immediately posted to the server. And since the data is posted to the server will run the event procedure, and from the event procedure it can access the control and check its state and assign some other controls property values. Let's place a tick mark here in French, and we can see French checked, German checked, English, and when I click French again it will state French unchecked. Right, so that's all about the checkbox control. Thank you for watching. Bye.